Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Thom Kenobi channel. Welcome back to the third installment of the Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker Expanded Edition Novel series that I am doing on my channel. If you haven't seen the first two videos I have made, go check them out. I'll leave in the top of the description, and I'll leave my series playlist in the top of the description. My first video was the review on the book itself, and my second one, which I posted a couple days ago now, was Rey's dark vision during her training with Leia. So yeah, today we will be moving on to Kylo'S epic deleted scene on Mustafar, the Eye of Webbish Bog, the search for Vader's Wayfinder. So I will just be sharing a bit about this, well, all of what is there, which is about a page. And then I would just be chatting about it, have some theories, have a good discussion and talk. Yeah, so let's just get straight into it. General Armitage Hux watched from a safe distance as Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and a squad of stormtroopers cut a swath of blood and destruction through the pathetic Mustafarian colonists. They battled through the gloomy woods of Korvax Fen, one of the few patches on this hellscape of a lava planet that was cool enough to support native growth, if you would call this growth. Barren trees grew out of a noxious marsh, and the air was hazy with mist. The barbarian colonists were failing to put up a decent fight. Their archaic halberds and broadswords were no match for the technical superiority of a good blaster, or even, Hux had to admit, a lightsaber. Ren was a blunt instrument, a mindless dog, whose current obsession was putting all the First Order's plans behind schedule. The general was half tempted to wade into the fight himself to hurry things along, just so they could leave this awful planet. Or at least he would be half tempted if his skills were not better used elsewhere. Best if Ren did all the dirty work. Hux was too valuable to risk. He is almost beautiful to watch, mused Allegiant General Pride, standing tall beside him. The older man had arrogant blue eyes and a high hairline that seemed immune to perspiration even in a hell climate like this. Don't you think? Hux refused to gratify that with a response because true beauty came from discipline, from order. So it was almost against his will that he found himself mesmerized as Ren met a barbarian charge head-on, cloak flowing, mist swirling around him. The glow of his lightsaber occasionally snagged on his cheek scar, making it appear as though a crack of glowing lava slashed his face. It was like something out of a dream, or maybe a nightmare, as the Supreme Leader plunged his fiery crossguard into his attacker's abdomen, lifted him from the ground, and sent him toppling onto his back. Kylo Ren did not spare his fallen foe a single glance, simply rushed forward into the woods seeking his next kill. But there was no one left. Corpses littered the ground, barely more than lumps of shadow in the gloom. The air smelled of ozone and scorched vegetation. All was eerily silent as Ren looked around, catching his breath. Even from a distance, Hux could sense his disappointment that the killing was over, that no outlet for his rage remained. Kylo Ren gathered himself and strode away into the woods, shoulders set with determination, lightsaber still ablaze. The mysterious object he had come for, dragged all of them across the galaxy for, was nearly within his grasp. "He's gone mad," General Hux said, and the contempt in his voice was obvious even to his own ears. "Flames of rebellion burn across the galaxy, and Ren chases a ghost." "No," Allegiant General Pride responded, softly but firmly. "Someone was behind that transmission, and Leader Ren will answer to no one." Hux narrowed his eyes. Ren would definitely answer to someone someday. He just didn't realize it yet. Kylo Ren showed mercy to nothing and no one, but he had a grudging appreciation for things that struggled to survive. Even though the nearest lava flow was many clicks away, it seemed as though the air ought to be too hot, too chemical, for life to truly thrive here. As they had landed, Hux had proclaimed the planet a desolate hellscape, and Kylo hadn't bothered to correct him. The truth was, Mustafar was teeming with life, all connected through the Force. Like those hapless cultists he had just killed, who'd been obsessed with protecting Vader's legacy. Or this forest of twisted iron trees they endeavoured to cultivate. Or even the extremophile organisms that swarmed the lava flows. all fragile but determined, mutilated but indomitable. It was no wonder his grandfather has chosen this place for a home. Kylo strode through the trees, lightsaber still ignited. Malevolence lay ahead, along with the darkness that had nothing to do with the planet's day-night cycle. But that's not why he kept his weapon ready. He refused to put it away because for the briefest moment, as he was hacking away at Mustafarians, he had sensed her watching him. Now his guard was up, and it would stay up until he got what he came for. By silent mutual agreement, the stormtroopers who had accompanied him had declined to follow him through the woods, which suited him fine. He preferred to be alone for this. A few more steps and the ground became soggy. The mist thickened. A small splash indicated that his presence had been noticed. Finally, the trees broke open onto a small lake with brackish water, bordered on all sides by forest and large black lumps like boulders, jutting out of the ground at odd angles. No, not boulders, he noted upon closer look, but rather fallen remnants of Darth Vader's castle. An oily film slicked across the lake's still surface, but as Kylo approached, the water bubbled up in the center, sending tiny waves to lap at his boots. A giant emerged, a hairless creature sheening with wetness, bits of lake detritus clinging to its pasty skin. Its eyes were squeezed shut, but it could still see after a fashion, because draped over its massive bald head and across one shoulder was a second creature with long spidery tentacles. The two were locked in symbiosis. Kylo sensed the giant's pain, as though it were a slave to the spidery being that clung to it. Yet neither could it survive alone. The spider creature spoke. "I am the Eye of Webbish Bog. I know what you seek." "You will give it to me," Kylo said. The eye cocked its head, making an eerie squealing noise. It took a moment for Kylo to realize the creature was laughing at him. "No need for that," the eye said. "Do you really think my lord would have left it in the guardianship of one who could be swayed by a trick of the Force?" No, he supposed not. "You've been seeking it for a while, yes? I must warn you, our fiery planet burns away deception. If you proceed down this path, you will encounter your true self." Kylo was growing impatient. He glared in silence. "Fine," the creature said, as though disappointed that Kylo would not indulge him in ceremony. "In accordance with Lord Vader's wishes, you have defeated my protectors and earned it. His Wayfinder." The blind giant beneath the eye raised its enormous hand from the water and pointed toward a small island in the lake. On it was a stone structure, like an altar. Kylo turned off his lightsaber and hooked it to his belt. He waded into the shallow lake, soaking his boots and cloak. The water was warm, and the ground beneath the water a sludge that sucked at his feet. He ignored it all, reaching for a pyramidal object. It fit satisfyingly in his hand, heavy and hot, and he stared at it a moment, lost in its red glow. The sides were etched glass framed in deep grey resin. The crimson light within seemed to pulse faintly. Ren had come a long way for this, and yet he hesitated, eyeing the pyramid with distrust. "It will guide you through the unknown regions," the eye said, "to the hidden world of Exegol, to him," whoever he was. The transmission purporting to be from Palpatine had reached the far corners of the galaxy. Kylo had it memorized. "At last the work of generations is complete. The great error is corrected. The day of victory is at hand. The day of revenge. The day of the Sith." He wasn't sure what to believe about it, but it was a fair guess that Kylo wasn't the only one seeking answers. Others would follow the same path and come to Mustafar sooner or later, looking for this exact object. So surely his grandfather would have made it harder than this. His cultists were too easy to kill. This creature too easy to convince. Then again, he was Vader's heir. The object belonged to him. Now that he had it up close, the etchings in the glass clarified into patterns, star charts, alignment markers. Something stirred deep within him, suggesting ancient knowledge and power, and he felt a rush of triumph. It had all been worth it, diverting ships, sending out spies, tracing old records, enduring the smug disapproval of that idiot Hux, all to find this. Kylo looked up, and was startled to discover that the Eye of Webbish Bog was gone, slipped back beneath the surface of a lake, so still it was as though nothing lived within it at all. How long had he been staring at the pyramid? Kylo Ren wasted no more time. Dried blood made the skin of his face itch, and his boots and cloak were soggy with lake water. But instead of returning to his command ship, the Steadfast, he dismissed everyone back to their regular duties and jumped into his modified TIE Whisper to make the next part of the journey alone. No one protested. He connected the pyramid to his Navi computer, attaching ports were indicated by the glass etchings. The nav interface lit up with the new information, but it also blared a warning. For these coordinates would take him beyond the western reaches into the unknown regions. Kylo overrode the warning and jumped his TIE to lightspeed. The stars turned to streams of matter. Well, guys, if they kept this scene in, I honestly think it would have been amazing. The Eye of Webbish Bog, and we only got to see like 56 seconds of Mustafar in the actual film itself. So if Mustafar got added for a longer time, that would have been great. That would have been amazing. Everyone would have loved it. The Eye of Webbish Bog, man. Let me know in the comments how you think about that. I think honestly it's pretty cool. They actually did have it designed and made as a prop. And everything. They did film it. It's in the Rise of Skywalker episode, Star Wars Episode 9 art book. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have that. But yeah, it was made. Everything was filmed for it. So when Rise of Skywalker comes out on DVD, it's probably going to be in the deleted scenes, which will be amazing. Can't wait to see that. Yeah, I Webbish Bog, and it would have changed the story a lot. Also, later in the film, there's also another deleted scene with Kylo Ren. He was also meant to go back to the ruins of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, and Coruscant was literally empty. Like there was no one there. It was deserted. It was just debris, mass destruction. The Jedi Temple broken, and he actually revisited it. And there were theories that possibly in Legends that there was a Sith temple underneath on the bottom half of the Jedi Temple. That's what clouded the Jedi's vision and why they couldn't sense that the Emperor was the Senator Palpatine. Yeah, that would have been amazing. Anyway, I really like this part of the story. I hope you guys did. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to join the Kenobi crew and to be enrolled into the TK Jedi Order, and hit notifications so you don't miss my new series, The Rise of Skywalker Expanded Edition Novel. So yeah, see you next time. May the Force be with you, always.